Morning, this is Janusz Kamiński. I'm a graduate of American Film Institute in 1988, I believe, long time ago. I'm also a cinematographer on Schindler's List, which was a movie that I did relatively fast after graduation. I graduated in 88, 89, I think, and we made the movie in 1991. This is the morning after the Nazis decided to systematically eliminate whatever population, Jewish population, was left in Krakow. And here we have Oscar, who beginning to realize what's happening in terms of what role he plays and his country plays. And we're seeing this young kid dressed in a red dress. And that's part of the story. This is the recollections of the writer, Mr. Kinnelly, who was the novelist. And he remembered vividly this little bit of a color in this bleakness of images. Technically, how this was done, this is 1992, 1991. The computers were very basic. So we needed to film this on color negative because we've got that little chunk of color. And after that, each frame that contained the red dress had to be rotoscoped by hand. What rotoscoping means, it's a hand animation where you look at this frame and you isolate just that one particular section of working with color negative, and then everyone else gets treated as a black and white emulsion. And it's very hard to talk about this. This is where actually, the way they organized this, they wanted to spend as little money on bullets. So would line up people so one bullet would penetrate several individuals.
Let's go, please.
Each print had to be hand spliced to include the section of the color positive, simply because the black and white print will not retain the color information. Because the thickness of the black and white positive and the thickness of the color positive is a little bit different, then the gate had to be adjusted in the projector. So now they had to manufacture a special gate that would know to give a little bit in when color positive comes in, because color positive has few more layers and it's just tiny bit thicker than the black and white negatives. Another obstacle was that making the movie in black and white, which was Steven's choice. This is during the time where studios were always afraid of black and white films because the networks would not pay same amount of money for black and white simply because it was considered to be an art form, an art film, and masses are not willing to see something that's black and white because it's not mainstream. But Steven insisted making the movie with black and white negative simply because that's how he saw the movie, and I think there was no other choice to do it. In fact, seeing movies from the war in color now, it seems very foreign to me, you know? This particular scene I want to talk about is simply because it reflects duality of human nature, right? It is a scene where essentially murderers are going to the building, searching for victims to kill, but yet one of them ends up finding a piano. So on the top of this macabre, violent, depressing scene, he sits down and starts playing a piano.
Was ist das? Ist das Bach? Ist das Bach?
Nein, Mozart.
Mozart?
Ja.
This scene was not in the script, so Steven decided to include a little moment there with the piano playing as a way to demonstrate it's not just the murderous Nazis who were uneducated, ignorant individuals. They were highly educated, culturally eloquent, who were musicians, who knew music, who knew the art, but yet under the leadership of the wrong organization, they were able to commit atrocities such as this particular scene. And as I said, non-scripted scene, but yet amongst this mayhem, there's a moment of humanity which almost doesn't belong to that place. This is inhuman. Another very interesting thing about the movie is that I remember vividly. 2 days after we shot the scene in Auschwitz, the scene with kids behind the barbed wire, showing off the tattoo, right? And I remember 2 days later, as we were leaving hotel, I looked at the newspaper and there was an image from our movie. I'm thinking, my goodness, how did they get that? And then I started reading it. It was the opening of the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. We were so close to recreating the reality that we lost the sense of, perspective that actually we've created something that's been documented and it's part of the human history. That's how precise we wanted to be in terms of depicting those particular events. And it was just powerful. It was powerful. And if it's good, when it's good, I have that ability to disconnect myself from the project. If it's good, it's good. And I just like, oh my God, I did that. I'm part of it.